Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, AM 630. WMAL.
Good morning, everybody. It's 5:07. You are tuned in to WMAL 105.9 FM, AM 630. This is the Morning Majority. Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, Mary Catherine Ham are all here. And we have a special treat, an in-studio guest, a guy who I would have to say is my new personal hero. Mark Grapin is here now. Do you remember the story about Mark Grapin? Mark Grapin is the guy who promised his kids he was going to build a tree house over in Fairfax County, got into a little bit of conflict with Fairfax County, but prevailed in the end by deciding he was going to take his case and show his kid that you can go to City Hall, you can make the case, you can fight the case, and actually prevail long term in a situation like this. And Mark, it's good to have you here in the studio.
Oh, thanks much, guys.
Yeah. So, how you feeling? I mean, you've had times to sort of absorb it all.
Elated. That'll certainly ebb. His life gets back to normal, but it's great. A little unexpected, I gotta admit.
You didn't expect to win?
No, you just expect it to drag out, and well, hopefully I can get a couple of years out of dragging the process out, and then we'll tear it down. But this worked for us.
And what are the boys doing with the treehouse now? Enjoying it?
Enjoying it, absolutely. As a matter of fact, Brenda's negotiating with the boys. They want to spend nearly every night in the treehouse, and of course there's school nights to contend with.
Get a little cold out there now.
It does.
The weather may take care of it.
Yeah, we were out in Prince William National Forest over the weekend, or National Park. And that was 25.5 degrees. Let me tell you what that feels like.
The kids are occupying the treehouse, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So do you normally get at 5 o'clock? You're here, you're bright and bushy-eyed and whatever they say, and you're here and you're up. This is a normal life for you, huh?
This is normal. By the time you guys are done with your production meeting,
right.
I'm headed for work, but certainly not the 1:30, 2 o'clock get out of bed call that you guys have.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that. Hey, so I want to sort of just look at the whole process. I mean, this was for somebody who wakes up one day and is trying to do the right thing by their kids and building a treehouse, and then to find out that you've run somehow afoul of the rules and regulations of the Planning and Zoning Commission. You really thought you were doing things by the book. A lot of people would have said, well, you can't fight City Hall. You just can't win. But you decided to take a different approach, and I think in the process taught your kids a valuable lesson. Why did you decide to stand up and take on the folks in Fairfax County?
The values. I looked over my shoulder a lot, and I've got two big bosses. I work for the Boy Scouts of America in my evening job. They say one hour a week, but you look over your shoulder from that job, and you try to live to those scouting values, and then on my full-time job, you try to live to the values of an American soldier, and what would be expected, and then you could season that with the values of life, but what would be expected? What are we supposed to show our kids? Make it better for the next generation, and that's what it boiled down to.
Did they get the lesson? Do you think they learned a lesson out of this?
I think so. In their school, they've been asked, what did you guys learn? And, of course, the school hones those things.
Right.
And they've been able to articulate that. We learn try to do the right thing, even if it goes altogether wrong. It's kind of like a piano recital. Don't stop. You don't get to stop the merry-go-round. You don't get to stop the events that life throws at you. Just keep playing. It's never going to be absolutely perfect. The treehouse is far from perfect. It's mostly perpendicular, but you just
mostly
keep trying.
Square and true, right now.
Exactly.
But that wasn't the point of the treehouse.
Exactly. So let's for me, normal, whatever that is. It's different for every family, which means there's almost 400 million options for us out there in America. But what I wanted to give them a slice of what normal was, at least as I perceived normal, and I think they very much appreciate it.
I think it's kind of cool that the school actually discussed it. I mean, some school systems would have shied away from it, maybe even in Fairfax County. But
because
the fact
they
that
are actually organs of the county.
But they actually talked about it, and did they talk to the other students about it? Was it like a lesson plan? Was it a discussion?
Well, the other
in the
kids
class?
just have one word. They call it cool.
Yeah.
They want to come over. They want to play.
Sure.
The teachers, well, they're in a great school. They make hay with life's training opportunities. Not every lesson. And the principal and the teachers for both the boys, respectively, all three of those people, as an apex of people for the school, look at all these things as life training, life education. So not every slice of education is going to come out of a book, and they've made hay with this for the boys and for their classes respectively. It's not that they made celebrities out of the boys, but it's a life event, and that comes back to social studies, I guess.
Yeah, and
Hands-on bureaucracy.
Yeah, and those are some of the best lessons, actually. I mean, when it's right there and you're a part of it, and the kids can see a disagreement where people have, both sides of the issue, and that it has to be somehow adjudicated and it goes and resolved. I mean, I think kids actually can learn better from that than they would just a regular generic, textbook example.
Exactly.
A teachable moment, is it?
Yeah, right. Now I understand that the tree house is decorated at this point, right? With Christmas decorations.
Last Sunday we had Sunday last, so eight days ago now, we had a thank you barbecue.
Right.
The cool part about that barbecue, we had the neighbors from across the street, and we have two sets of those neighbors, original occupants in the neighborhood from 1954.
Wow.
And one of them came over, in particular. It was great, helped out, sliced and diced, and made sure the sodas were chilled and everything, and which is relative, which just means you leave the cooler open this time of year. And one of them said, really made my day, one of them said, this is the first time in more than a generation that we can remember that the entire neighborhood has gathered together.
Yeah, except for one old crank.
Well, and that person's probably not even a resident of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's just a driver through. But during that barbecue, there's a fellow that owns a local company, stopped by, introduced himself, and handed a business card and said, I'm with Decorate a Vet. Never heard of the outfit before, but certainly these things sound cool at face value. Introduced himself and said, we're in the business of decorating veterans' homes. And so I thought, well, I've got all my faculties and most of my marbles. Certainly I don't qualify for such a thing. And he said, no. You would be helping us enormously if you would allow us to, and they approached it like, if you would allow us to decorate your treehouse as an advertisement opportunity so that we may decorate yet more veterans' homes. So I made them promise up and down, and Joe was great, the chair of this organization. He was great, and he swore up and down, and indeed, they delivered exactly as promised. Home Depot is one of their sponsors. They get several sponsors, but Scott's, I understand, is another one. The sign's out in front of the house now. But now I promise the house is not for sale. But he, at least the treehouse. But they came out on last Sunday, just a couple days ago, and performed exactly as advertised. And the treehouse is opulent.